Thunderbolts will forever retain a special place in my heart, alongside The Last of Us games and High Cholesterol. Beyond being an awesome Marvel Studios film featuring anti-heroes such as Florence Pugh's Black Widow, Sebastian Stan's Bucky Barnes, aka Winter Soldier, aka he can robo-fist me anytime, I'm up all night to get Bucky, David Harbour's Red Guardian, Wyatt Russell's US Agent, aka Captain Asshole, Hannah John Kamen's Ghost, no relation, Olga Kurylenko's Taskmaster, and Louis Bollman's Bob. Just Bob. This Jake Schreier-directed adventure is legitimately a great film, and harkens back to a time when Marvel movies usually fired on all cylinders rather than firing everyone involved with Blade. It's a fun superhero venture with thrilling and well-choreographed action, a razor-sharp sense of comedic wit, and terrific complementary character dynamics between all these rogue misfits that engage the audience both through their humorous dialogue and unique personalities with much nuance and diversity. For reference, Black Widow desperately desires to be a hero rather than a hired gun, Winter Soldier balances his past espionage experience whilst being a newly elected member of Congress, which wow, that's probably the toughest job he's had in the MCU thus far, and keep in mind, one of his jobs involved murdering Tony Stark's parents. Red Guardian is wistful for his past glory days as the Soviet Union's Captain America equivalent. US Agent grapples with how he was shit-canned from being the official Captain America due to him being a pickle dick motherfucker. Ghost reflects on how she did shitty things whilst enduring debilitating pain. Taskmaster was traumatized as a child, and Bob, we'll discuss him later on in a future more spoilerific video. Regardless though, Thunderbolts' roster of anti-heroes contains various primary characteristics disparate from one another, all while personifying one core unifying attribute. That core attribute being, these characters are struggling with the deep sad. Because yes, Thunderbolts cinematically conveys a thesis statement on depression, a dissertation on sobbing uncontrollably while devouring a pint of ice cream straight from the tub. Hey, many of us have been there, no judgment here. The film narratively and thematically revolves around sadness, regret, shame, and even burnout, meaning that while the movie is entertaining as a summer blockbuster experience because explosions, Thunderbolts' overall message involving depression is all too relatable for many people. And that includes myself, given that my experience with Thunderbolts is individually distinct, especially considering that driving to a theater to watch this movie was one of the first things I did post-discharge after a 10-day stay in a psych ward, a stay that was due to both obsessive-compulsive disorder and, of course, depression, a mental state that each member of the Thunderbolts understands all too well, causing me to be especially susceptible to the film's subject matter regarding its narrative and themes involving mental illness and depression in particular. And thankfully, Thunderbolts does a great job broaching a topic that most movies in this genre fail spectacularly at. See anything involving Batman. Because while I love Batman as an IP, his stories generally consist of multi-billionaire Bruce Wayne, who, by the way, kicks the shit out of the mentally ill and also Catwoman. Not exactly the best representation there for both the mentally ill as well as weird cat ladies. Yet Thunderbolt's execution of its mental health themes is uniquely exceptional. Hell, on this front, it's far superior than Spider-Man No Way Home, a movie in which Peter Parker feels immense sympathy towards his mentally ill adversaries, which is admirable, though it is automatically difficult to hate Willem Dafoe. I'd avenge him. Yet Thunderbolt's portrayal of mental health supersedes that of Spider-Man No Way Home, mostly because the anti-heroic protagonists in Thunderbolts are struggling with depression, i.e. a mental illness, whereas in Spider-Man No Way Home, the mental health themes are mostly relegated to the villains, automatically ensuring that Spider-Man No Way Home's representation of the mentally ill is lesser, because if anything, Thunderbolts is just in its own league here. And while sure, there are imperfections, which I will discuss in the next video I do on the subject because they require me to spoil the movie, Thunderbolts portrays mental illness and depression with a sense of compassion that's almost unheard of in the superhero movie genre. It's just handled with incredible care, like a newborn baby or some nerd's Warhammer set. Shit's f***ing expensive, man. Thunderbolts just captures the nuances of mental illness perfectly, and all these characterizations, while fantastical due to being featured within a comic book movie, parallel the turmoils and troubles of real-life people with depression as well, because we too have intense emotional states that cause us to relive traumatic memories and feel like worthless failures, meaning that Thunderbolts resonates with all of us us who have experienced adjacent negative thoughts. Additionally, this mental health angle befits the focal point for a Thunderbolts film. In the debut Marvel Comics run of Thunderbolts back in 1997 by writer Kurt Busiek and artist Mark Bagley, the Thunderbolts were a team of supervillains masquerading as heroes for both personal and collective gain after the deaths of the Avengers, but slowly but surely began to realize that whilst pretending to be heroes, that maybe they actually prefer to be heroes, because being nice feels nice, if only more people realize that. Highlighting that people can change under the right circumstances, as well as the potential dangers of method acting. And the new Thunderbolts film transforms these heroes to villains genre trope to its own ends, especially considering that none of the characters in the movie constituted the Thunderbolts' original roster in their original comic book run. As these morally flawed characters reluctantly team up due to the very shady behavior of one Seinfeld's ex, the movie utilizes both the anti-hero nature of its protagonists and all of their mental health problems as motivation to be a better version of themselves, to be heroes. In other words, this new superhero team have arcs that connect on both a narrative and an emotional level, because despite featuring 0 members from the original comic book run, the protagonists' moral, personal, and mental health evolutions throughout the movie simultaneously work as a logical pairing to the source material, all while delivering a multiplex-worthy movie with an epic ton of heart. Thunderbolts is just emotionally resonant. On one final note, I need to stress that Thunderbolts is a fun film despite some of its weightier subject matter. I mean, come on, this is still a Marvel Studios production. Tonally speaking, these films can only become so dark. For this reason, I suspect Marvel Studios to have a 500-foot restraining order against Zack Snyder. The dialogue and back and forth banter between all these characters are great and humorous. The actors all nail the unique characterizations and personality quirks of their roles, and the action is creative and enthralling. There's just no question that Thunderbolts is a popcorn action movie to its very core. Yet Thunderbolts' emotional resonance is the ultimate reason why we care about the action and the character dynamics of the team. It's the true factor that convinces the audience to give all the about this movie, because while Thunderbolts narratively and thematically shines a spotlight on mental illness, the film is engaging on a visceral level as well, meaning that Thunderbolts is a rollicking good time, all while positing a heartwarming message. It is truly the rare film about depression that is also fun, because being sad has never felt so good.